Okay, we gotta name the tier lists. So clearly you see that Charizard is lower than having value. Alright, let's just kill all the characters we don't like to start off. These are just so what I mean by this, characters I don't fucking care about, is just like I really don't even care to rank them. I'm only going to be ranking the worst characters, the absolute top tiers that you should consider maining. And this is if you want to be a quirky fucker and play something different just because you want to be different or something. So I'm not even going to bother ranking them. Maybe 1 or 2 is low high tier. Maybe 1 or 2 is bottom tier. Or low tier. I don't give a fuck. I'm not even going to rank them. It doesn't matter. They don't matter. We'll talk about this guy soon. Any characters I really don't care about. Oh, I'll rank Toon Link in a bit because I feel like it's relevant to ranking the links, which are so I care a little bit about him. Sonic. No, I don't care about Sonic. Sonic might be low high tier though, so maybe we should care about him. I don't care about Ridley. I wonder how good Luigi is now. I don't think he's very good. Fuck it. I don't care either way. I don't care about those characters. I care about the characters that I actually think people might pick to win tournaments or to play in specific matchups. Most of these characters as well, I don't think even have particularly good counter picks. So Ness is like a pretty decent character. And so is Ken, and so is D3. But I don't think they have any real winning matchups against any top tiers. And so even if overall, let's say Ness is overall better than Sheik, if Sheik has a few more top tier matchups, then that means that she at least has value. Like, you can pick Sheik for that matchup, like, let's say Wolf, and just fucking edgeguard him. Whereas, there's no reason to pick Ness against anyone because you should just be maining someone else. And I don't care if X characters won a tournament. It's early, they shouldn't be winning tournaments, but if they do, that's great. Fuck him. Like, this game is relatively balanced. I'm not saying that you can't win tournaments with Ken, with D3, with Mario, with any of these characters. I'm just saying you're not going to be winning super mages with them in a year's time. Maybe there's 1 or 2 characters I'm wrong about. That's great. You go out and prove me wrong. This is a tier list that I do where I care about who the best characters are and who the worst characters are. That was the premise from the entire start. I'm going to rank the characters that I think are the best and that I think are the worst. I guess we'll start with the worst characters. So obviously the worst character in the game is Charizard. This is obviously seen as him playing alone. Then yeah, he's trash. He's by far the worst character in the game alone, in my opinion. Because Charizard, if you pick Charizard against any top tier, he just loses like 8-2 if you only play Charizard. He has no combos. He has a slow grab, terrible dash grab. He's huge. He has no safe aerials. He doesn't even kill that early with most of his like regular kill moves. Yeah, you can get an early Flare Blitz or you can up smash them at 130, but F smash isn't even a good F smash. Down smash isn't good. F tilt doesn't kill if you don't get Tipper. Like, he's by far the worst character in the game running solo. Now, this is a character that is also almost as bad as Lil Mac. And it's Lil Mac. And he should maybe be in Charizard tier depending on how you rank characters. But I think this is a game where you want to pick more than one characters. And at least Lil Mac has the cheese factor. He's fast. If you can pick him on FD or like maybe Smashville, it's not that easy to platform camp him. He can rob you with KO Punch that kills a 10 in this game. I could see him have 1 or 2 matchups where he is actually playable as a cheese pick. Charizard alone has not a single viable matchup. And if you want to play Charizard alone, then just pick Bowser. He's better in every single way. So yeah, at least Lil Mac is shitty but unique. And Charizard is below that. He's just generically trash. Rosalina's not worth anything. Just like very underwhelming. Not like maybe the worst. Not as bad as Lil Mac for sure. But still like, why? Don't pick them. Isabel is just shitty villager. Fishing rod is way worse than villager side B, and she has nothing to weigh up for the fact. You can edgeguard some characters with fair and back here. That's about it. What other shitty characters? King K. Rool, second worst heavy as Charizard. It's too slow. There's too many of the top tiers that can actually edgeguard him, and he's too easy to counterpick while not having any good matchups above this line. Like, maybe he can cheese kill Mario or whatever, but he's just so bad against any top tiers that why play him? He's top tier on Wi-Fi though. I think Squirtle played alone. So again, played alone. No swapping to get kills is bottom tier. But he's actually like, if they gave him like one or two decent kill moves, he would be like low high tier almost. No, he would be here. He would be a character I don't care about. But because you really can't play him alone, he's bottom tier that way. Obviously, though, not many people can do that. That's just like, I would be ranking Pokemon Trainer later as a whole. Kirby is in this tier. Kirby at least has some decent frame data. He's just super slow and underwhelming. But he has at least some things. Like, he's far better than Charizard. He's not big. He has a decent recovery. He can edge guard people. He can spike people with downer. Down tilt can trip you. He has grab combos. Like, he's so far above Olimar and Charizard in my opinion. Even though he's not a good character anyway. And there's no reason to pick him over Jigglypuff. I guess we'll start ranking. I think Sheik is like low high tier. Mainly because she still has really good situational matchups against some characters. She's pretty decent against sword characters. She can definitely gimp like Cloud and Chrom. She can go in on some slower characters. Even against like say Wolf, she can actually really well with backer and bouncing fish. She just takes a lot of work, and there's not really any value in playing Sheik because you probably could play it with the different characters. And I still think that against the characters that you want to play Sheik in, it's honestly better to play Pokemon Trainer. However, it takes a lot more effort to learn Pokemon Trainer to play Squirtle into Ivysaur than it is to just play Sheik. So yeah, I think she's like low high tier, and this is not ordered. So low tier, high tier is generally when you have a few matchups where you might want to pick this character. She's like borderline characters I don't fucking care about because she's a bit too hard for her use case, but she's still barely above that, and she's pretty fun to play, so yeah. Diddy is also like probably has one or two decent matchups in top tier, but like overall not good. Struggles too much to kill with, but I don't think he has no value. It's just that he's incredibly underwhelming, so I understand why people drop him. I don't agree at all that Diddy's bottom 10. I think that's ridiculous. Banana is still like such a good tool. He's still decently fast. He has like everything he used to have. He's just slightly worse in the engine, and he struggles a bit more to kill. But I still think that like Diddy can pull some really good stuff, and Banana edge guards and stuff like that can work. It's just not great by any means. I think Sonic is like kind of weird. I don't know too much about this character, but I know he's not bad. And I think given the right matchup and the right player, I think you could take him pretty far. He's also super annoying to play against, so he definitely has some value. You can definitely main Sonic and run another character for secondaries. Although I would say that if you want to win a major, you should probably secondary Sonic instead. But then again, he's kind of in this weird spot where Sonic mains just play Sonic. Mewtwo, I think Mewtwo is still scary, but he has a bit too bad priority. He's a bit too big, which really sucks in this game. But Shadow Ball's still really good. His recovery is still good. He just struggles a bit on small stages when he's like scrambling a lot, especially compared to say Lucina or Marth. It's just, why are you playing this character instead of those characters more than anything? I'm like considering putting Olimar here, but I think Olimar is probably in high tier. So Olimar is just like a bad character buster, and I think he beats up people that play badly super hard. But I do think that eventually the meta will kind of catch up to Olimar, and he'll get worse. One of the worst things about Olimar is that he has no good scramble moves. However, a lot of people don't realize just how bad they are, and so they let him up smash. Up smash has 12 frame startup, but which is pretty slow for an up smash. Like, you wouldn't really be scared of any other character's up smash if it was 12 frames. Now, the thing with Olimar is that his up smash is sometimes safe on shield depending on what Pikmin you have. I think purple Pikmin is like -6, which is kind of ridiculous. I could easily see him fall a bit more, like to low high tier, once people get really good at shield pressuring in this game. So one thing that people never did at Genesis, for example, where the bus went really far with Olimar, is that they never did like Ike Nair on shield into jab. So Nair is like -4, and jab is 5, so it's still way faster than a 12 frame. And you never saw Sakurai do that either. He can also be edge guarded pretty well, which I don't think a lot of people showed off, because, for example, Ike and Wolf have kind of struggle going really far down there. But yeah, I still think people overrate him significantly because he's very easy to play, and you know, he's just kind of a weird character to play against as well. But I think because you have to kind of play specifically with him, he will have some bad matchups. I think overall he's not going to be too relevant end game, but I think he's very good now because he's so easy. I think Bowser is a low high tier. Bowser's weight is so insane, and he's so fast. He just does so much damage. Up B out of shield is incredible. Side B is incredible out of shield, and just as a kill move. Like, if your character doesn't have really good neutral and can't edge guard Bowser super well, like Bowser will probably just win the war of attrition. Just like trade hits, get a few hits in, and then win. He's a super simple character. He's literally the opposite character of Sheik in many ways. I think people are sleeping on him a bit hard. Like, I think he's like maybe, you know, like in this tier, he's among the better characters. Simply because of how easy and practical he is, and anyone can play him. So I think he's might be a character that people use like occasionally against characters that struggle at killing and so on. I guess we're kind of on a heavy track, so let's finish up the heavies. So I think DK is like, I think he's better than Bowser, but he's also not really worth playing as a main. I think he's kind of in this weird spot where I feel like DK, the more I think about it, is like he's really strong and stuff like that, but honestly he doesn't really make up for the fact that he's a big body. And he kind of struggles hitting small characters as well. And he can still get camped. His dash attack is really nice. He has the cargo throw. But I feel like he's just one of those characters where like, why exactly are you picking DK? If you want to win tournaments, like maybe 1 or 2 matchups that he's good in. But I feel like that's more what you want to see him like, oh, this character can't, you know, he's tall enough to get hit by Rising Short and Backer. They can't out-camp me. And they don't have a great edge guarding tool. Sadly, I think with both Bowser's and DK's recovery, they're just really edge guardable. But at least Bowser's like ridiculously heavy and has a bit better dash speed and out of shield game. Like, I think out of shield game is where DK really struggles. He's just like, people just get up to him and he can't really full jump away like most characters do in this game. Because what is he going to come down with? Like fair, downer, nair. Like even backer doesn't hit ground people well. So once you're on DK, it's really hard for him to get off. His grabs have really good reward, but again, grabs in this game are not that strong, so it can be kind of rough. Toon Link is probably here. Or he's like borderline characters I don't care about, but fuck it, let's rate him later with the links. I feel like Chrom is probably here, honestly, but he might be high tier too. I think Chrom is low high tier. Like in this high tier, I feel like Chrom still has some really good matchups, and his like base kit is just super strong. He's pretty simple to play. His short up speed is great. It's just that his recovery by some characters is too exploitable for him to ever be a main. However, I still think that Chrom has legitimately good value in a lot of matchups where you can't really edgeguard him for free. So I think he's like, you know, he's high tier, but he's lower part of high tier. Well, maybe we'll do like this, roughly ordered. I think Snake is low high tier. He might be better than like Sheik and Diddy, but I still think he's significantly worse than many of the characters I will rank in high tier. He just has too many bad matchups, really. He does have some good ones, though, so he's not irrelevant. Like, Pichu and Pikachu struggle pretty hard against him. Some characters with low range can struggle as well. Like, a lot of these characters in the mid-tiers struggle really much against Snake and recovering against him. But yeah, like, overall, I still think people are mad overrating Snake. I don't really know where they get it from, but if you're that big of a believer in Snake, then, you know, go ahead. I personally think they're, like, Snake is fine, not garbage, but he has some garbage matchups, more or less. Putting Pokemon separately makes no sense. I feel like it does, but it's a super novelty thing. It's just people liked it last time, that's why I'm doing it. And I feel like it helps illustrate why Pokemon Trainer is the spot, like the full Pokemon Trainer is the actual spot he is. But we'll get to them. Yeah, Cloud. I think Cloud he's a much more solid character than Chrom for sure, but I think he struggles a bit too much with killing when he doesn't get a limit kill. And because you can play around limit well in this game, and it's hard to combo it, where a lot of characters in the higher tiers have good kill confirms, it can be very hard for him to kill. He also struggles with the fact that a lot of the time you kind of just want to do back air at all times. Obviously, his fair and nair are a lot worse than, you know, like say Lucina fair nair, Chrom fair nair, Roy fair nair. But the main problem just comes from you want to kill with it, you want to edge go with it, you kind of want to ledge trap with it, you kind of want to shield pressure with it, and so the move becomes incredibly stale very easily. And so he struggles killing with it because of that very reason. Now, there's not too many heavies in the top tiers, but he can struggle really hard against, like, say, Bowser or DK just because they edgeguard him super well while also being really hard to kill. If he had maybe a grab combo, I feel like he would be top tier because he is still super solid overall. He has good hitboxes. It's just that not having a grab combo in this game, I think, is a huge deal because it means that you can play around parrying. It means that you can play around shielding super well. And every time someone hits your shield, they kind of have to mind game, like, do I shield if he's going to nair out a shield or be out a shield, or do I spot dodge because I'm afraid of the grab into a combo? With Cloud, it just you really barely get anything from a grab, and that really sucks. I feel like Palutena is like kind of the same type of level as Cloud, but better. Side B and neutral B are like fine moves, but they're honestly more of a detriment. Like if she had better side B and neutral B moves, I feel like she would be a better character. Her counter is okay for reflecting occasionally. Teleport's good as a recovery, but still can get 2-framed. Up air is an amazing like juggle tool, but doesn't start juggles, so it can be kind of hard to like get them to the area where you want to up air them, and I feel like that kind of hinders her. If she had one good tool that just like consistently launched them into juggle state, she would be a lot better. Right now you kind of have to rely on them like dash attacking them and then deciding not to go to the edge, and that's when you try to sneak an upper in, or like getting a side B. But I think side B and neutral B are going to get worse and worse as people get better against them. They both have like big startups, and I feel like her aerials are really fucking good, but especially forward air and back air will get worse because of parrying. They're both pretty laggy, barely safe on shield if you don't space them. And a lot of characters with good nairs can nair out a shield and so on. But overall, really, really good still. Super solid, very even matchup spread. Like one of those characters that you can use, maybe you main like Cloud or Chrom, and then you can use Palutena as a character against the ones where they edge guard your main super well. I think Richter and Simon are also high here. I think they're super slept on. They destroy a lot of, even these characters kind of can get easily destroyed by them. They kill super early. They do a lot of damage. The recovery is actually really fucking good. Close range. Tether is just incredibly hard to beat in this game in general. It's more the range and the combination with the fact that they're heavy and they have an invincible up B. That creates a really strong mix-up, which makes it really hard for a lot of characters to gimp them. Now, they do struggle from the fact that if they get hit off really far and they're forced to like air dodge back, some characters can kind of just jump out and kill them. But at that point, you're already getting hit far off the stage at above 100 at least. And so like dying at that percent doesn't matter nearly as much as getting gimped at 0. If you get gimped at 0 in this game, you have like a 10% chance of winning. 10-15% I would say, even if you're equally skilled with your opponent. It's just like 3 stocks, and a lot of characters being able to not get gimped makes it really, really hard to make like full stock comebacks in this game, especially if they happen early. I think Fox is in this tier too. He's kind of like Olimar in many ways, where he's just super simple and straightforward to play. He has some variants, but overall, he kind of struggles with the fact that up smash is his only really good kill move. He can back your by the edge and F smash by the edge, but like realistically, the only thing you have to watch out for are up smashes, and then you have to play around nair to up smash and like F tilt tech chase up smash. But I feel like Fox has been performing super well, but that's more because a lot of Smash 4 players, who are the people dominating this game, aren't very good at edge guarding Fox. They're not really playing the new characters as well as Fox mains, who often play the same character as the game before do with the same character. Basically, he's just simple, straightforward. He's not like very, very slow or simple, but I feel like a lot of people see a fast character in Fox and they think Fox is in melee is hard, and so they assume that he's some kind of super complicated character. But in reality, he's actually quite simple, struggles with being super easy to edge guard for a lot of characters. Really, not super easy, but like he's very edge guardable. Almost every character can at least threaten to kill him. And the fact that he doesn't get anything from grabs really hurts him as well. Okay, I guess we'll rank Falco. So Falco he's kind of like Fox in many ways. Whereas Fox is more like he has good dash speed, really good fast fall. Falco is like he has combos, he has kill confirms with up tilt and downer, but he struggles a bit more with the straightforward killing, just like run up smashing. He's better edge guarding though, which I actually think is a major flaw with Fox. He can't really edge guard nearly as well as Falco and many other characters, because back here is, while it's safe on stage because of a low land lag, it has a lot of ending land lag. And yeah, going off stage with Fox generally isn't worth it, while it really is for Falco. Overall though, I can see that Falco has a few more bad matchups because of his speed. He has trouble breaking good spacing because it doesn't have like a quick forward hitting hitbox like Fox up smash or dash attack and short up nair. But overall, I feel like they're similar. Like, I don't really think you can rank Fox as the best character and then have Falco in low tier, because many of their flaws are still the same. Like, they're still like hampered by the fact that they can't really camp you. Their reflectors are like fine, but nothing else. Their up B and side B recoveries are really edge guardable. They're both light and kind of predictable when they try to kill, but Fox has the speed and Falco has the combos and edge guards essentially, along with Fox having one really, really good kill moves But overall, still good characters. But I think Falco will get a bit better with time as people learn his combos better, and Fox will go down a bit as people who were Fox mains start looking at other characters, and people will learn to abuse the recovery a lot more. I feel like Yoshi is maybe top tier, like bottom of top tier, but I'm gonna put him like high tier. Basically because he's just so easy. He has a great recovery, the best character combo breaking, the best shield in the game, amazing narrative shield, good pokes, good juggles. He's like borderline top tier in my opinion. He's like simple but can still play in many different ways and doesn't really care about a lot of other characters' game plans. The problem is I feel like he doesn't have a big hitbox that hits in front of him in the air, and I feel like a lot of characters in this game, if they don't have a really good spacing tool from a short hop, then they need something amazing to make up for it. Because if you look at this list, a lot of these characters have that exact thing. They have the fair in front, they have the back here to cover themselves. That's safe. And while Yoshi's Nair is really stupid, it doesn't quite have the priority to challenge a lot of the top tiers. So yeah, he's still super good, super annoying to fight. I think if a really good player picks him up, they're gonna make a lot of upsets until people get really good at just like outplaying him while not getting frustrated by his bullshit. I think we'll start by just putting characters into top tiers and then we'll rank them eventually. Like that's gonna be the last part. Alright, so let's do the sword characters. So we already ranked some sword characters. Most notably, Corrin is in characters I don't fucking care about. Just the worst. She's just the worst. No, it's just too slow dash speed, too bad recovery compared to other sword characters. Robin's not a sword character. Me sword fighter, I don't give a shit about. Maybe a little bit better than some people think, but still not great. I guess we'll talk about Lucina and Marth. I think Lucina in the current meta is super top tier, and Marth is slightly worse, but honestly, still probably top tier, but just worse top tier. It's just, why are you picking him? He's kind of a character I don't fucking care about because I don't really think he's worth playing for most matchups, but I feel like there still might be some matchups where Lucina main might just be, why don't I just pick Marth? And eventually, I think Marth tippers are going to be a bit more consistent as well. Maybe characters that Lucina really struggles to kill with, you can use Marth's extra tipper damage to kill with. But we'll leave them top tier for now. Just know that we're not going to do full ordering until everyone, like, we've done the tier ordering correctly, and then we'll go through top tier individually. So Chrom and Cloud, they both suffer the bad recovery problem, where the strengths are good, but they just have a bit too bad recovery to really make it into top tier. I think, honestly, Roy is either top tier or really fucking close to top tier. He just kind of destroys some zoning characters, honestly. There's a lot of zoning characters in this game that, like, they want to run away from you, but they also have a few decently ranged tools. Roy kind of just cuts through those characters like butter. He also kills heavy super easily. He has good edge guarding. The only real problem is that he doesn't have an amazing 2-frame, and his ledge trapping isn't quite as good as Chrom's. Now, I don't really think anyone has maximized his potential yet, so we'll kind of see. He's a character I'm interested in, like, trying out more. And he's one of those characters where I feel like it doesn't make any sense why me and so many others thought he was that much worse than Chrom. Because if you kind of play him, you start noticing, like, it doesn't really matter that often that I get the weak hit. It still works. Like, it still serves the purpose. Like, you can still space fair. And if you get the weak hit, fine. Like, you don't get max damage. But if you're playing against a lot of characters that struggle to get in against ranged characters, a little damage is usually enough. And with his dash speed and his short hop, like his amazing short hop, along with having really good like full jump tools, because fair has such low end lag, so you can do double fair in the air or fair falling up air. I think he's honestly just really fucking slept on by a lot of people, myself included. And although we won't know his true potential for a while, I feel like as time goes on, he's definitely a character to be on the lookout for. So I might move it to low top tier, but he's going to be high tier for now. Because I feel like the top tiers are characters that I know definitely are just amazing. So Ike, I think, is top tier. His recovery is a lot better than Chrom's and maybe even Roy's. Definitely better than Chrom's, Cloud's, and Roy's. Better than Corrin's. It is exploitable by some characters with great counters, but there's not too many of them. And Some characters honestly just really struggle at edge guarding him because he's so heavy. Some people don't. Some characters, I mean, and some people don't want to go off stage against the threat of being up B spiked. We'll rank him more individually later, but even though he has definitive flaws and some bad matchups against like Pichu, Fox, and maybe like Wario or someone that can just get really close and just beat him up with pressure. I feel like in general he just stomps on so many characters that it's impossible for me not to consider him top tier in like a realistic what's good right now kind of tier list. Not a lot of people play him, but I feel like a few more are going to play him. The thing is, you still need good fundamentals to play Ike. Like, he's stupid, Nair is too good, but if you're a bad player, you're going to keep being bad with Ike. Ike is just like a character that enhances your like current skill and doesn't force you to learn anything extra. So he's really good in that way, but he's still not a free win for bad players. He's not like good at the level where King K. Rool is still dominating. He's not good at the level where people think he is good. The people that actually whine about Ike, that's not really the level where he's that strong in my opinion. He gets way better when you get really good confirms where you can use the fact that your character is very simple to just understand the game super well. The same thing kind of goes for Lucina, in my opinion, and Marth. They're like very simple characters, so you can just focus on learning the game. You don't have to, bother with all these character-specific things. You just play the game, and then the character will, work for you. Sometimes, some matchups, the sword characters just kind of beat because they can't challenge the range, and they can't edge guard them well enough to make the times where they do get in hurt enough. And those times are really when you play the sword character for. If you play Lucina, Ike, and to certain degrees Chrom, Cloud, and there will be times where you just don't have enough spice. Like you don't have anything super unexpected to throw at your opponent, something super hard to play around, and so they're predictable, but they're super solid. They all kind of struggle a little bit with parrying, especially I would say Lucina, Ike, and Marth, because their fall speed isn't quite as good. But they have decent option against it, and currently people are kind of bad at utilizing parry, and so they kind of get by on a little bit on that. But we'll see how that meta develops in the future. This is kind of like more of a current tier list than eventual possibility tier list, which my last tier list had more of. Oh yeah, Shulk. My boy Shulk. I think Shulk is high or top tier. He's really hard to rank for me. I kind of feel like I need to play him more. Against him more. He's with Roy where like he's probably a bit worse and practical than Lucina, Ike, and Marth, but they're still really fucking good. So I'm probably gonna keep them in top tier. I mean high tier, simply because not because they can't be top tier. It's more that if you're gonna play sword characters, you're probably better off playing Lucina or Ike in this current metagame because they're just simple enough while still having really good strengths. If that makes sense. We'll see how Shulk develops though, but he's definitely not a character that you can sleep on. He could very well be top tier, but he could also be low high tier, I think. But he's definitely not like a bad character by any means. I think Greninja is like low-ish high tier. We're just naming this mid tier. I'm so tired of fucking talking about low high tier and having to correct myself. This is mid tier. They're still close to these characters. They're just not as well-rounded. Greninja has really good like 2-3 hit confirms. He has some extended combos, some of which you can kind of like play around if you get good against. Greninja's main problem is purely around the fact that his grab is too slow. He has no other shield options that are amazing. He doesn't have an amazing short up aerial like almost all of these characters have. Yeah, I think every single character above him. Amazing. Yeah. Every other character has really good short up aerials that like just cover space. He has some potential though, and we kind of see his counter is crazy. His up B water gun is kind of weird now. I think it got nerfed. Side B is also really weird too. He's just a bit too complicated for his own good, but still very good. I think Mega Man is around here too. He's probably the character that got the most nerfed out of any character in the recent patch, 2.0 patch. So I think he dropped from being top tier or top of high tier to this tier. Simply because being able to do pellets into Leaf Shield gave you such an amazing control over neutral, because you couldn't really challenge pellets, and every character that couldn't challenge pellets, you could literally just play that game, the entire game, and that you didn't even have to fight. So right now he's still good, and Leaf Shield is still amazing, but it's not as good. And you kind of have to work a little bit harder in some matchups. His juggling is mediocre. His aerials landing lag are a bit too high. So right now a lot of characters can kind of just attack him way better than they could because they don't have to fear pellets into Leaf Shield for like 40 damage. I think he will struggle a lot more against like sword characters and such now. But obviously I don't play Mega Man, so we'll kind of have to see how big the nerf is. But definitely one of the characters that got the most shafted by it. Serious Suit Samus is a character I also struggle really hard to rank. I think she's probably in this tier 2. And all these characters are like, they're a bit too complicated for what they offer you. Most complicated characters in this game aren't worth picking over the easy characters that you like. If you like start going up here, like you start to notice how straightforward these characters are, right? And there are some harder characters that will come up that are above them, but in general, Serious Samus needs a bit more from grabs. She needs a bit more consistent tools against characters that are really small. But when things work out for Serious Samus, she's super, super scary. She has the best initial dash in the game. Initial dash to F-tilt is still super good. Uppy out of shield is really good. It's just that some of her moves, like Paralyzer and Down Smash in this game, aren't nearly as threatening as they used to be. I guess we'll rank, now we're talking about simplicity, I think Link is really, really good, but slightly too bad to be top tier. Link got buffs in many ways. His AB killing, it kills stupid early. He kills with basically everything. He's heavy. He has a good nair, decent fair, decent back air, good up air, good downer. Bombs are scary, but they're a bit hard to use against some characters. And I feel like as people get better against the bomb, that kind of outweighs a lot of the things that you would generally want for its potential. So like, how do you make Link better than he is currently? And I think that way is generally through bombs and projectiles. And I think people can get a ton better against the bombs, so it'll kind of have to outweigh some of the developments that you could see him have. Overall, though, still super solid. Is very, very good early meta, I think, because he's just so heavy. Just kills with everything. You don't need to combo really because he doesn't have too many combos, but you don't need them either because he just does decent damage on everything. Now, Toon Link is just bad Young Link in most ways, but Young Link is amazing, so being bad Young Link is not the worst thing ever. The thing he has over Young Link is more hit stun on bombs, better up tilt combo starter, back is arguably a better spacing move, so is and forward is a bit better of a killing move outright. His up B is better at killing. No, I would say he has about the same recovery. The standard one goes a bit further, and he has a bit better aerial control, but Young Link has some can use bombs, and his aerial's a bit better to defend himself. The main problems with Toon Link over Young Link is his short hop is way too floaty. He doesn't have consistent combo throws. Arrows are a ton worse, and in general, his nair, I would say, is the biggest problem. His nair just doesn't work, and it doesn't complete the kit that Young Link's does. He just kind of feels like a character that has good tools, and you can't really say this tool is bad, but they don't synergize super well. And so I guess we'll go on to Young Link. And yeah, you basically heard me talk about him already. He has such a cohesive kit, like because of how good his nair is and how his shorter bomb timer helps his recovery out a lot. He basically just becomes a character with very few weaknesses, other than the fact that he requires really good confirms. The shorter bomb hit stun and the bomb sending the wrong way really hurts his consistency in confirms. Up B and down throw can be hard to follow up on, as can down tilt B at times. You also need to use really good confirms to kill in general. If you just try to throw out raw kill moves, you're not really going to get that far with Young Link, but he does have some of the most consistent, natural ways of killing, where you just get a boomerang, you get double arrow into up B at like starting from 90, you get bomb as a downer or up smash, you get up B into a 50-50 kill confirm, you get down tilt up B by the edge, you get edge guards, nair starts eventually killing if you get the strong hit, back air up smash, forward air up smash, and so on. He can just kind of kill you, but he struggles with the fact that he can't really cheese any kills from you. You're never really gonna die at 50 from Young Link unless he gets an amazing combo that involves like 5 hits. Some of the other characters in top tier can kind of just like kill you super early or get a Stitch Face or, you know, like roller you or something like that. Rob can side B you. Wolf can down smash you super early. And he doesn't really have that kind of broken factor, but he has less flaws than many other characters. He does have a tether grab, but I'm starting to think that having a tether grab in this game might even be not that big of a deal. Arguably maybe even a plus in many matchups. It means that it's really good for catching people in the air, which air grabs in general are really bad at in this game. You can whiff punish it, a lot of short up aerials with dash grab or pivot grab. And it also allows you to follow up on combos such as back air, nair, and fair to grab. Overall, he's looking to be my main at the moment. He's so fun to play. Now, his big flaws is that you need to confirm, he might struggle a bit against really good DI, and that he's light, so he does a little bit early. But honestly, the biggest problem is just that he's hard, and many other top tier characters are not. That's honestly his biggest flaw. He's hard, and he isn't quite as strong as the absolute best characters that are similar in difficulty. I talked to Tweak, and he said that like Young, he doesn't even know who Young loses against, but he's just like the hardest characters he's ever played. I'm not sure if I quite agree on that, but I feel like it kind of describes just how high the ceiling is. He has so many tools in every area. Like you can choose to camp or attack, or like pull a bomb and then camp, or like dash dance. Like you can do so many things at all times with Young Link. He has possibilities on platforms, on even stages, and I feel like it's gonna take a while before we see his full potential. But I think he's good enough for me to justify playing him because he's so fun, and because I think I could potentially bring out the potential in him. That came out really shitty, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna investigate and play him more. Maybe even use him at Summit at this point, but we'll kind of have to see after I play him more offline. I feel like Wario is a really good character to have as a secondary. He's basically the best brawler or just like nut where you just go at the opponent and hit really fucking hard. Is he top tier? It's hard for me to say, but I feel like Waft is such an amazing tool and will keep getting him kills that I have a hard time seeing that he will fall significantly. And he has the type of tools that just make you scream, that is fucking bullshit. Like, why did I die to an up tilt or an up air at fucking 30? What the fuck? Bite is an amazing tool, especially if people start parrying more. It'll make it really hard. Landing up air, fair can confirm into things. He has a combo throw at low percent. Like, he's just a very, very strong character. But because he's so one-dimensional in many ways, where like he's about going in and hitting your opponent, he can have some losing matchups against really good sword characters. But I mean, a lot of the sword characters are already top tier, so I don't think losing to them is a big deal when you compare them to a lot of other characters in high tier and such that are already significantly worse. And I think Waft, as time goes on, is going to keep becoming more and more of an amazing tool. Mid-waft especially is just like 5 frames startup. You can punish anything with it if you parry or short up it. You can confirm from short up fair. You can textures into it, edge guard with it. Like, I think it's just an amazing tool. But he does feel awkward to play in some matchups. So I think playing Wario as a main with maybe a secondary to cover his weird matchups, or having him as secondary for everyone else, depending on how you see it, like depending on how many people you think are going to play sword characters, I think it's a really basic bet that will take you very, very far. Rekka more specifically, but yeah. Wolf is top tier. We'll talk more about his specific placement later, but Wolf is so fucking solid. The only problem he has is killing against some characters, but really only the heavy characters such as Richter, Rob, and Wario, and Ike, honestly, because most of the other top heavy characters, and Yoshi, I guess, most of the other heavy characters are too big and too tall to avoid back air properly. So it doesn't, like, the fact that he kills late with it doesn't matter as much because he has very easy access to it. Rob kind of suffers from this, but Rob is also just really good at edge guarding Wolf, so I still think it can be a rough matchup. Blaster is good, really annoying. He struggles a little bit with parrying because you can't really just land with Wolf and do something up close because his jab kind of sucks. His grab past like 40 doesn't lead anywhere. But he's still a solid character. Very easy to pick up while still having a lot of really good things that you can learn eventually, or things that you will keep getting better as time goes on, such as like side B confirms, real specific backer placement, learning how to set up down smash properly, you know, all this shit. It's really good. Still struggles a little bit against some characters. Not as even as you'd want a top tier to be. I think he has a couple really bad matchups in top tier, but he does beat Peach, which is really good. Against Peach, you get down throw side B confirm like for like 40%, like 35 to 75, regardless of DI. He doesn't get that on many characters. It's mostly a DI like gimmick. So if they don't DI, you get it. But against Peach, it's legitimately a way to just trade stocks if you ever get grab close to the edge. And just deal damage mid-stage. Like, it does 27 damage or something. So just having 30 damage grab helps a lot at mid-percents. So I guess we'll talk about the matchups that Wolf really struggles against. So this is just rank. Again, this is not rank. Like, Pikachu and Pichu. Now, Pichu is significantly better than Pikachu in my opinion. But Pichu is so good that Pikachu is still in top tier, essentially. You probably shouldn't be picking Pikachu, but we'll get to why he still has a lot of place in a little bit. Pikachu and Pichu is just amazing recovery. Their only real problem is that they don't have that big fair hitbox, that big like low leg aerial that a lot of other characters have. They kind of make up for it with having a decent fair and Thunder Jolt that covers a lot of space. But Pikachu especially doesn't have a aerial that's really safe on shield, and it really shows when you see people play it. Pichu's Nair being safe is just so amazing. Like, it really makes each of Pichu's aerials have a specific tailored use, and so you can just like, you have a great aerial for every situation. You want to spike, you have downer. Downer is also amazing to get down from juggles. You want to scramble, here's Nair. You want to back air for edge guards, for loops, for anything, there you go. You want to juggle people, here's upper. Like, fair is probably the worst aerial out of them, but it still leads to combos at low percent. It still follows up from combos. It's still decent. It's just that it has a bit too much lag to be like an amazing aerial. And yeah, Pichu kind of shits on Wolf because of how hard you get edge guarded and how early you can kill Wolf. Mid stage, oh, I got a backer or a fair, and then you edge guard them with a downer or a down tilt 2-frame or an F tilt. Like, you kind of saw Sakura versus Void, and I feel like both of those people could have played a lot better. But you still saw that, like, when Peach is playing on point, it just looks super fucking rough. Peach is definitely among the strongest characters in this game. I guess the next bad matchup we have is, in my opinion, Inkling. Inkling's mad underrated by some people, in my opinion. And I think a big part of it is just because, legitimately, Smash 4 players are bad at edge guarding and they're bad at dash dancing. Inkling's dash dance is by far the best dashes in the game. The fucking hurt box is non-existent. It's so stupid. Dash grab like is still under the ground for like half the startup. Dash up jab has momentum. You can do dash up F tilt, up tilt, and down tilt, always sliding momentum. Really quick attack cancel backers and RAR backers is really good and hits everyone, even the smallest characters on Rising. So they have like arguably a better Rising aerial than any sword character. Nair and back air are both so safe on shield that they're even safe against parries too, which is just absurd. You need to make sure that they hit it like too high and you're close, or that you get the weak hit. But even then, a lot of characters don't get a good punish. Like, if you don't have a 6-frame grab, you can pretty much say, I'm not going to punish Inkling out loud, and they'll be like, yeah, no, you ain't. Roller didn't get nerfed. Like, it said it got nerfed, but effectively, no, it didn't really get nerfed. Still has bullshit hitboxes, like beats things that it shouldn't. If you like F smash it with Cloud, like it will clank with the first hit and hit Cloud in the second hits. Absurdly good kill confirm. Now, it has flaws in the way that you can't punish it out of shield, but the problem is over half the cast don't have a good kill move out of shield that will cover roller jumping out. If you have rollered for a bit so that you can jump as soon as possible, I believe it's only like minus 15 or some shit. And so, for example, even Wolf can't actually like up smash it out of shield if it hasn't been just started. Ike, for example, what are you gonna do? Like up B out of shield maybe? Like, that's not a kill. Pichu gets like up smash, but that doesn't kill too early. There's just so many characters that don't get a decent punish out of blocking roller. And in this game, it can be really hard to block moving specials anyway because you're dashing, right? Like, you want to dash up to F tilt and initial dash, you can't shield in. As well as roller just being a good mix-up against parries. Like, or you think you're gonna parry, they'll do short hop, late roller. You can texture from it. It legitimately both inks you, makes everyone run slower on the ground where the paint has been, and it makes your next attack do a fuck ton of damage. Like roller into up smash does like 36 if they're like a little bit inked before. So even if it doesn't kill, like you're still getting a fuck ton of damage. Even just roller to back here into grab up throw up air will do like 60 damage, which is it's just absurd. So yeah, they do struggle killing, but the better you get at edge guarding, I feel like that's going to be a less of a problem. Down tilt is an amazing 2-frame, as well as down smash. Jumping off with fair and back air is really good. Up throw up air percents, really knowing them and having really good execution means that you will be able to start consistently killing characters off a grab at like 110. Up smash is a really good kill move and out of shield option as well. Just a really amazing character, but it's kind of weird to play because you have to keep playing dash dance heavy and with your back turned a lot of the time, as well as having good footsies. Like you have to have a good control of neutral, otherwise they'll feel kind of underwhelming. They'll just be like, why am I not just playing a character that does more damage or kills earlier? But they're amazing recovery. They're super hard to edge guard and actually get a kill out of. Their combos, their consistency just makes them easily one of the best characters in the game for me. They're light and they're not amazing at getting down for juggles. That's kind of about it for their problems. Sometimes they'll struggle with killing, but they also get you up to 100% in 4 hits after jabbing you. So yeah, I can't really sympathize with people that, oh no, one time I killed 160 and the other time I jabbed him twice, then roller up smash and he died. Like, yeah, your average kill percent is still going to be like as low as many of the other top tiers. So I don't really think it's a big problem. Although obviously they're not as good as say like Ike or Pichu at killing. Next up we have Rob. I think Rob is like kind of misplaced. Misplayed right now. A lot of the good Rob players play him like he was in Smash 4 in many ways. They don't dash attack that leads into a combo. They don't do dash up sliding F down tilt or F tilt much. They kind of just spam gyro and neutral B because that's what was good in the previous games with Rob, and I feel like that's what's really holding him back. However, they're still putting out decent results. His up is amazing. He has broken throws, like down throws like almost 50-50 at high percents into a kill. Up throw and back throw combos at low percents. 4 throw is a good edge guard. All this while having a 6-frame grab. Down tilt is one of the most stupidly broken moves in this game. It's only like -4 or something, and it's 3-frame startup and trips and combos into itself. At high percent, you can do fucking down tilt, running, down tilt, running, down tilt across the stage. Yeah, his nair is amazing. Like one of the safest airs on shield. Fair is also really good. Comes out quickly. Downer is an amazing spike that auto cancels even if you do it as soon as possible off short hop. Backer is an amazing edge guard tool. Gyro and neutral B and side B are all ridiculous at edge guarding, and his recovery is probably the best recovery in the game. Yeah, probably. The thing is, with Pichu and Pikachu, who are 2 other characters that have amazing recoveries, and even like Puff, if say a wolf jumps out, or a Roy, or a whatever, jumps off and hits you at 50 as you're starting your up B, or they spike you, you're gonna die. Because you're too light. Like a lot of the characters that have good recoveries, including Inkling, they are really vulnerable to spikes and strong smashes 2-framing them, for example. Like Pichu's pretty 2-frameable, along with Pikachu. The moves that can 2-frame Inkling or spike them are really good against them because they don't have a hitbox. Same thing with Puff. Like if you just get hit, you can just die. But Rob is like almost infinite fucking fuel. He can up B, attack, and still be able to double jump. You can up B, double jump. You can air dodge up B. Like you can shoot projectiles while recovering. Like it's just so absurd how broken his recovery is. And all of this comes with the fact that he's one of the heaviest characters in the game and just ridiculously hard to kill. Even if you hit Rob off stage, you might die. And when you're edge guarding Rob, you know that at any time he can just like double jump above you down air, or side B you and still make it back himself. His recovery range is so absurd that if he doesn't want to be horizontally edge guarded, he can just up B to the top of the stage and then fall down with a nair. Yeah, just absurd recovery. Really fucking stupid. I hate that there's no recovery that good in this game. Only real problem is that he's big. Honestly, doesn't really have any more problems. He doesn't have the most amazing out of shield game. Being good out of shield in this game doesn't matter as much because most of the good characters are safe on shield anyway. And he still has one of the best parry punishes in down smash and down tilt after parry. Up smash hits both sides, hits on frame 11, short of fairies like frame 10. Can full jump out and then come back with a falling nair really well. And yeah, gyro combos can like kill you at 0. Just an absurd character. It's really unfun to play against in general in my opinion. And side B is just, I don't fucking know what the fuck they buffed side B. It's already so stupid, but for some reason they fucking made it better. So I guess it's only Pokemon Trainer Peach left. So these were the 2 characters that I put on my last tier list, which was more of a, this is what I think in the future is going to happen. I still think Peach is one of the absolute best characters, and I guess we'll start ranking them, but I don't actually think Peach is the best character in this game anymore, namely because characters in top tier have pretty good matchups against them, and she's a bit too hard to play in neutral, especially because of our weird ass tools. She is incredible though, but there's just one character that's slightly better, which we'll get to soon, just because that character is even more broken. However, Peach is just kind of a fucked up character. Like, you have this character that's supposed to be slow but really fucking godlike once you get in, right? Like, all the aerials are super good, almost doesn't give a shit about parrying, and she's supposed to have struggled to kill, but then they just buff her so much that all those problems disappear, and Nair doing 16.8 damage or whatever the fuck it does, like all of her combos just dealing like 80 damage from 1 down tilt to 1 aerial. Her turnips doing 12 damage and sending almost straight horizontally, making that amazing for edge guards. Like, her counter actually being good, and her side B being so fast and virtually unpunishable. Apparently it's only -7 and you bounce super far away. So there's basically no realistic way for most characters to punish it. And having such a fast, like basically unreactable to punish tool makes a character that is supposed to be slow, at least horizontally, have one of the best like fucking like Bardock Rebellion Spears. Probably the best like approaching special in the game. And then she also has float, like instant fast fall, which makes her really fast vertically too, and she's the only character that doesn't struggle to come down from platforms because of float and to land on platforms because of float. She's just pretty absurd. The only real problem I think what Peach has is that as people get better and better and better at avoiding down tilt at low percents and float nairs at low percents and fairs at high percents, she will have to like work a bit harder to get those big punishes. But right now she's just incredible, probably effectively going to be the best in the game for like as soon as Peach players master their shit until the next character, the best character, masters their shit. Which I think if this kept going, this meta kept going, I think Peach will still be an amazing character for years to come. Just slightly too slow in the air, mostly, I would say. Like, a lot of characters can use platforms really well against her. If they're like diagonally above her, she kind of has to float upper or full jump fair. Maybe like rising back air, which I don't think is that strong a position. So characters with really good diagonal moves such as Wolf and Lucina can still challenge her super well. And she struggles against characters that set up projectiles super well, such as Pikachu, Pichu, and Young Link. These characters kind of just run away, get out like Thunder Jolt or a bomb or a boomerang, and now she kind of has to play around that, which means it's a lot harder to land her super high reward down tilt and fair. And I guess we'll order Pokemon Trainer. Again, this is a realistic tier list. I think if you're talking potential, maybe Pokemon Trainer is a bit higher. I guess we'll start with Ivysaur. Ivysaur's probably a character around here-ish by himself, maybe here. Let's just put him here. Ivysaur is really fucking annoying to play against, and he's really good against some characters, such as Snake and Olimar. The problem is that a lot of those characters aren't the characters that should be played in top 8 of majors. If you take Ivysaur and you put him up against Lucina, Peach, Pichu, Inkling, Wolf, Marth, Youngling, Ike, Rob, Pikachu, and Wario, the only characters I would really say that Ivysaur's kit is good against is Wario and Peach. Maybe Lucina to a certain degree. The rest of the characters basically just like fuck him over and don't let him kill easily or don't let him projectile cam. But even against Peach and Wario, it feels like those characters are just so much stronger and just do so much damage or kill you so early with Waft that even though I'm supposed to win, you usually end up losing anyway. Just because the character's being a bit too overtuned. Overall though, Ivysaur is still by far the best Pokemon. Very practical, Downer is an amazing edge guard, maybe the best spike in the game. I would only say that like Yoshi's Fair competes with it, but Yoshi's Fair is good because it has a good non-spike hitbox. Main problem with Ivysaur's Downer is just that it's very weak, so a lot of characters, once they know how to play against it, they can just choose to up B first, and if they get hit, they can jump up B before Ivysaur has time to get another up B out. Downer out. And learning how to punish Razor Leaf means that it's a lot harder for Ivysaur to actually get kills. But overall, Ivysaur is still an amazing character, especially considering he's not the only character you play. And if Ivysaur was any stronger, then I feel like it would just be stupid. Now, I ranked Squirtle really low because he simply can't kill. But basically, if you want to imagine a world where you can play only Squirtle and Ivysaur and call it Squirtle and Ivysaur and the fucking jabroni Charizard, that character would be like 1 place or 2 places below Pokemon Trainer, because Charizard is such fucking garbage that the only reason you should play him is to play him against people that suck against run F tilt and up smash out of shield, essentially. None of Charizard's other tools really have any business hitting in a match other than when you already made the advantage with some other character. So let's say Ivysaur hits someone off. You go Charizard, fair them. You juggle them, you switch to Charizard, you up air or you up smash. Like, that's not Charizard being good. That's Pokemon Trainers like Swap being a good tool. Now, Charizard does have one of the highest value down Bs in the game. You go from playing a trash tier, the worst solo character in the game, to playing a character that is essentially a mid tier or mid tier or a high low tier that just struggles to kill in Squirtle. If you think I'm gonna play Squirtle and then just kill with Ivysaur, he's basically like up here. Like, Squirtle is actually a bigger part of Pokemon Trainer strength than a lot of people realize. It's just that your average Pokemon Trainer player literally only knows how to use Ivysaur well at this point because he's so much easier than the other ones. But I think if I fully main Pokemon Trainer, then I would one of my biggest ways to improve would be to just keep improving my Squirtle as much as possible, because he's the one character that I feel I'm not doing well enough with. Charizard, I feel like I could get better, but even if I got 10 times better, the more I play Charizard, the more I lose, basically. So yeah, female Pokemon Trainer is using all 3 Pokemon, and male Pokemon Trainer is using only Squirtle and Ivysaur. So I think female Pokemon Trainer, because of still very well-rounded character, but just sadly a bit worse than I thought, and especially struggles with any matchup where Ivysaur sucks. You run into this problem of Charizard being the worst character in the game, which I already talked enough about, but let's say you play against Mega Man or Inkling, right? And you can't get in and kill with Ivysaur. What's your option here? You pick Charizard and maybe get a lucky kill or lose 100%. You pick Squirtle and you literally can't kill. Even in matchups where you really want to play Squirtle, such as like Ike, Lucina, Roy, Chrom, you play Squirtle for 80% of the match, but then they can kill you at 70 because he's so light, and you still have to swap to Ivysaur eventually anyway. So you can't really play a match with completely Squirtle, and you definitely can't play a match with completely Charizard. So it really just becomes too reliant on Ivysaur, and characters that counter Ivysaur counter the entire character almost always. So I think because of that and the fact that you have to play 3 characters, Pokemon Trainer is basically mid-tier. Probably like higher mid-tier-ish, but just not a character I would recommend many people to play because of how many matchups you have to learn. Now, someone will inevitably say, well, your opponent also has to play against 3 characters. But with some basic maths, if I remember these numbers correctly, so let's say you play against Pokemon Trainer. You only have to learn 2 extra matchups because you have to play against Pokemon Trainer. But in reality, you only have to learn like 1.5 more. Like, you have to learn Squirtle and a little bit of Charizard. But with because learning Charizard, because he has so few viable tools, essentially means that you can just all right, I'm playing against Bowser, but way shittier, and then you kind of get the matchup. Now, even if you do the same thing, let's say, okay, fine, it's 3 new matchups, right? You're still only playing your own character, and a lot of characters in this game don't give a fuck about what their opponent does. Inkling, right? Oh, I roller them at 100. Well, they're maybe Charizard lives, so I'll increase it to 110 before I roller. Lucina, oh, I space against all characters. Oh, Peach, well, I do down tilt to the same combo on basically all characters. You don't actually have to change your playstyles because everyone but Ivy are very, very simple characters to play against. Now, the problem is that they're still really hard to use, and you still have to learn to play Charizard against those characters where you can't really kill, and when you have really high percent. So essentially what happens is that you have to learn 3 matchups, and they can kind of just like get good against Ivysaur, and then the rest will be fine generally. Because even if you fuck up against Squirtle, as long as you know how not to die against Ivysaur, you're fine. But if you don't know how to play Squirtle against a certain matchup, you basically do like 10 damage from a down throw instead of 50. So you really have to learn to combo almost every character. And this is kind of me whining too much, but yeah, essentially not worth it. Just pick a character that has all the same tools and the same character, instead of learning 3 matchups for every single character. You have to learn like 225 or something matchups in total as Pokemon trainer, or even if you count for the 2 extra characters, like let's say a young main only has to learn 77. So yeah, playing only Ivysaur and Squirtle is like there. Still like barely better. The only thing is really that sometimes you get cheese kills with Flare Blitz and you can recover. But recovering with Charizard shouldn't actually happen that much against top tiers, because Flare Blitz has a ton of lag, and just in general, he's too big of a target to get out of ledge trapping. So we're only gonna order top tiers and do rough overview of high tier. I still think this is mostly true. Yeah, maybe Shulk is a bit better than Roy. Yeah, this is probably how I would rank. This is just very roughly, like lower end and higher end is the only thing that matters. Maybe, yeah, we can just put Fox over Richter. So we're top tier. Let's start with the bottom first. So Marth is probably the worst, or least worth picking top tier. Lucina, I think, is 4th best, maybe 5th best. Yeah, actually, I think Lucina is just a bit too simple. It doesn't quite have the strengths like some of the others. I guess probably worse than Young Link. Pikachu is probably slightly worse than Young Link. Pikachu just like suffers really hard from the fact that worst Pichu in almost every way. Yeah, or is still super stupid. Maybe the worst top tier just because he's more inconsistent than the other ones. Yeah, I think Wolf is slightly better than Lucina, just because Wolf is a bit more well-rounded against projectile characters specifically. I feel like when I play Young Link against Lucina, I can kind of just throw projectiles and she can't do anything. Whereas with Wolf, you always have both the blaster and the reflector to worry about. And that really fucks some characters up, such as Ivysaur, Snake, Diddy, Mewtwo. Like, it's just a bit better of a counter to have than Lucina's counter. Down B to have than Lucina's down B, which is the counter. Inkling is still absurd. I think Inkling is like basically tied with Wolf for me. Bit more well-rounded as a character because of no abusable flaws, really. It's only really the fact that you can't kill, but both of these characters kind of struggle to kill. The main problem is just that Wolf can't recover while Inkling can. So she has like 1 less flaw, which is enough to put them above, in my opinion. But Inkling doesn't have a counter. It's a bit lighter, but overall I would think Inkling is a bit better than Wolf, but only by a very, very small amount. So I guess we're going to talk about who I think is the best character, because I already said Peach was the worst. I think the best character is either... There's 2 ways to look at it, in my opinion. Inkling or there's Pichu, I think, are the best characters. Inkling is if you care about easy characters that will beat the majority of these fuckers very easily. Like, I think Inkling just shits on basically everyone down here for free. Now, Pichu is a bit too inconsistent because of a lack of range and simply being too light. Now, the weight isn't as big of a problem as some people think. A lot of characters can't even kill Pichu significantly earlier than like even midweights, but it can sometimes really fuck Pichu over, especially when you're playing against some of the weirder low tier characters such as Ganondorf, Incineroar, fucking Wii Fit. They just have really strong random attacks and they can kill Pichu early. Both of them have top tier recoveries. Both of them are amazing at edge guarding, but Pichu slightly edges Inkling out because Inkling has the spike and a better projectile to edge guard with. Both great at ledge trapping. Now, the real difference is basically Inkling is top tier because simple with a lot of potential. Basically, almost a flawless character, does a fuck ton of damage, but the limits, like the best Inkling combo ever, is not going to look that different 1-2 years from now. The best Pichu combo is going to be fucking ridiculous if Pichu doesn't get nerfed, eventually people will just start sear to deathing with lightning loops. You can kind of sometimes maybe get out depending on your character. The loop is most consistent against midweights, especially floating midweights. But if you start looking at this tier, midweight, 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 slightly light midweight, but still works on a little bit. Works on Ike too. Heavy midweight, midweight, like slightly heavier, midweight, light character. Like light characters that are edge guardable, you don't really need the loop against anyway because you just get them off stage and kill them. Heavy, midweight, lightweight, midweight, heavy, midweight. Like so many of the good characters are loopable. It's kind of insane how lucky Pichu got with what other top tiers are top tier. Like if Snake was the best character in the game, then it would be a ton harder for Pichu to fight. Because Pichu has some bad matchup against Olimar and Snake, according to Void when I talked to him. And I could see those. Although I think Olimar might be more manageable. Snake is just really heavy and really hard to combo because of Nade. And Olimar also has Whistle. But yeah, essentially I think eventually, if this patch keeps staying, you can just fucking get a down tilt, a down throw, a nair, a thunder jolt, an F tilt into tech chase. You can get a parry, you can get anything and just fucking loop those fuckers 0 to death or 50 to death or maybe even just 0 to 50. But that's enough to bring in already amazing characters into the best character territory, in my opinion. Now, the problem is that we don't know exactly how viable this loop is. And that's why I have some doubts on Pichu. If there is a way to get out of the loop consistently, she legitimately like goes like barely better than Pikachu tier. But because the loop is so amazing and legitimately 0 to death wobble from like 5 different starters in some cases. Obviously it's worse on platform stages. Obviously it's worse against some characters, but the fact that you can have a combo with basically no risks to do it while still potentially 0 to deathing characters is insane. Like I think the biggest thing is that if you drop the loop like you saw Void do a lot of Genesis, you're still at advantage. Like you can just barely not combo, but you can still keep going. You're not risking anything really by going for the loop. Only very minimal damage by like not getting one more hit of back here. So like you're still fine. Like it's a thing of you can go for it, and if you don't 0 to death them, you got 60% and sent them off stage. That's fine. That's still better than any other character in this game, except maybe Inkling and Peach. So yeah, the wobble is just absurdly broken. Personally, I think it should probably be nerfed, and I think it's quite likely to happen as well. So that's one of the reasons why I actually don't want to play Pichu, because I think wobbling people is not nearly as fun, and because I think it's going to be nerfed. If I knew that Pichu was 100% not going to get nerfed, I would probably be sitting here practicing lightning loops 10 hours a day and just 0 to death everyone. But I feel like it's not worth the time right now. Maybe if I somehow know that they won't nerf it, then I'll look more into Pichu again. But that's one of my biggest problems with the character, that it's just such a controversial combo to have. And I feel like Nintendo generally aren't very fine with having, wobbles in the game. Because they already showed that they removed Luigi's, or they tried to remove at least. They tried to remove Luigi's down throw, down air, nair, down throw, nair, down air, nair, into up B, like wobble, and Mega Man's Leaf Shield. So I think that's one of the things that I feel like might just have slipped them by. So yeah, we'll see. I think that either of these characters are basically tied for the best character in my opinion, along with Peach. The thing with Peach is that I feel like Peach is maybe better than either of these characters, but I feel like because it's really hard, right? Like what do you value more? Like I think if this patch stayed the same patch forever, Peach and Pichu would probably be the 2 best characters in the game. We think Nintendo is going to nerf the top tiers, then Inkling is the best top tier, because Inkling is far easier than the other characters while still having a ton of potential if the game doesn't get patched. Pichu is still a very good pick, because even if they nerf Pichu, you can just transfer the skills to Pikachu, who's also a top tier. The thing is that Pichu's and Peach's movesets don't transfer quite as well, in my opinion, as Inkling does, where Inkling can kind of just play a basic ass sortie. You can play Wolf, Inkling without too much trouble, in my opinion. They have some specific shit with the dash dance, but you can transfer a lot of that skill over. And they're just, your general game plan with Inkling is a lot easier to pick up and play than your general game plan with Pichu and Peach, who kind of have good but really awkward neutral game. So yeah, like I think Pichu is the character that if you just want to play the peak potential character or the absolute most potential, I don't think it gets any better than a Sear to Death combo. Inkling is the super safe, super well-rounded character. Peach is the next best like potential character in my opinion. So these three honestly are basically tied in my opinion. I just think that as far as picking what character you want, you can look at like the top tier and you can pick basically anyone, and because of nerfs, you're almost as good off. I would say because of the patching culture, you're slightly inclined to pick an easier character in case your top tier does get nerfed, but it's not super bad or anything. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Pichu, the best character, if I had to choose one. More or less tied with Inkling and Peach. Wolf, the best like traditional character, basically just a sword character with a slightly worse recovery but more tools. Young Link is like the most fun character in my opinion, but requires a ton of hard confirms. Pikachu is worst Pichu. Ike is the best like character at just playing super simple but really fundamental and good, and gets absurd reward for like Nair. Whereas with Lucina you kind of have to use all of her tools well, even though she's simple. Rob, super heavy, super degenerate, but has some inherent flaws in just being big and not having a sword. Marth, worst Lucina, and Wario, Waft is the best move in the game, probably. It's like the best non-neutral tool. Like maybe it's better to have Thunder Jolt than to have Waft, but Waft's just so fucking stupid of a move. Either way, I don't think the game is terribly balanced or anything, but I do think that if the game doesn't change at all, you will start seeing less and less mid tiers and more top tiers. But right now, the game power levels are relatively close, so sticking with a character they used to main is at this point far stronger than just picking the best character. I think that's it. I think we're done. No, I'm basically sticking with I'm gonna be trying a lot of characters at the bootcamp. Oh yeah, tune into me and Armada's bootcamp starting tomorrow, also featuring Gluttony.